Alright, guys, James from Moshville Times here. I'm in the basement of Ivory Blacks with Ben and Sammy from Goatwhore. How's it going, guys?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good.
Yeah, not too bad.
Cool. And if I remember correctly, you were here with Dying Fetus just under 6 months ago. So the obvious question is, what have you guys been doing since then?
Well, we got home from the Dying Fetus tour near late December, like a little bit before the holidays and such. And then we just kind of chilled out since then. And in January and February, we kind of got together a little bit and started working on some new material. And then started back up early in March. We went to Australia and New Zealand.
Yep.
And then flew from there over to Oslo to start up this tour. We started at Inferno Fest.
Oh, wow.
So January and February were kind of like partially downtime, but partially also working on new material.
All right, cool. And, well, the obvious question is, how's this tour going so far?
It's going really good, really good. What you think?
Yeah, I'm enjoying myself. We're here with our good friends of Skeleton Witch and Mortals, and
Yep.
things probably could not be going better.
Despite having yesterday cancelled.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was kind of out of our hands. So.
Your most recent album, Constricting Rage of the Merciless, came out about 10 months ago. What's like the reception been like for that with like the press and everything?
Really surprising, because I wasn't expecting it to be accepted like that, because I always get kind of real nervous before an album comes out. And this album, we took a lot of different steps in it. You know, there's a few more doomier sounding songs on there and stuff like that. And, I wasn't really sure of what people were going to think, but it's actually been doing really, really, really good.
Oh, that's good.
I'm pretty happy about that.
Yeah. Oh, good.
Yeah, I have to agree, man. The response for it's been really, really good, overwhelming at some points. And, the feedback, even in a live setting, when we play a lot of the new material, it's really good, too, as well. Because usually, like, in the early stages when your record comes out and you're touring, people aren't really fully into the newer record, and they know the older material so much
They've got to
more.
let it digest a bit.
Yeah. But it seems like it's been really like on point. Like a lot of people know the lyrics, know everything that's going on with a lot of the songs we're playing from the new record. So it's really good, and we have a lot of the songs from the new record in the set too, which is on our behalf is probably kind of risky just throwing that out there because you never know how it'll be taken in depending on like you said with people digesting it and stuff like that. So. But yeah, it's been really good, man. And we're still fucking in the early stages of it, big time. Like you said, it's only been out like
It's not even been
10,
a year.
10 months, 9 months now. So it's like it's still early stages, big time.
Wow, good. It was also your fourth time working with Eric Rootin on this album. What's it been like working with Eric? 'Cause it's like you've worked with him quite a few times now.
Yeah. Working with Eric. I mean, working with Eric. Working with Eric. Yeah, exactly. Sorry about that. I've been in Germany too long now. Working with Eric is definitely an intense experience. He'll definitely push you to give your best instead of like letting you half-ass it and fix it in Pro Tools or whatever. You know what I'm saying? He wants to get you, your soul, your physical playing on the recording instead of this whole copy and paste bullshit that's going around nowadays.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a very intense experience. It's like, there's no room for error. Let's put it that way. And especially the way that we did the last record in 2-inch tape, analog tape.
Oh, wow.
There's no such thing as punching in and, all right, the riffs, I know the riff's hard.
Yeah.
We're just going to slip it in there 4 times and let you slide. No. That does not happen on 2-inch tape. You have to be really on top of your shit to record on 2-inch tape. And we're working with Eric and the 2-inch tape this time. Double the intensity of the fucking trying to get everything perfect. But yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, I love working with Eric. He's very passionate about what he does. He will not let anything slip. He always tries to outdo himself on every record. And I think he really. He even said this when we were done with this record. He's like, I don't know what I'm going to do next because the record came out fucking amazing. Like, he was so happy with the way it came out.
Now, for some people here who, for some strange reason, who've maybe never heard your music before, how would you describe it to them?
I always say heavy metal, man. I mean, the thing is nowadays I don't really like that question in particular. No offense, but because the way the internet is and the way people can check out anything, I don't feel like I want to explain to someone what it's like. It's like it's there, it's available to go check out whenever, anytime, any given point to go see if you like it or not. Because not only that, it's not like a bad thing with that. It's just that too. Everybody gives it its own category too as well. Because if you read reviews as things come out, some people say, "Oh, it's like black death thrash," or it's like blackened death metal. So there's all these variations of where it could fall into place, and we have all these different influences, and they're kind of mixed in there with traditional kind of metal. So it's kind of just hard to just sit there and lock it into one thing.
Yeah.
That's why I just usually say like heavy metal with it. Because
extremely dark heavy metal.
Yeah.
But the basis of this whole question is, don't sit there and try to like ask friends what it's like. Go and involve yourself and see if you like it.
Find out what it sounds like to you, and then you call it that.
Yeah. Don't be like your friend's like, "Oh, well, it sounds like this," and you're like turned off because he explained something or she explained something that isn't something that you're into.
You prefer people to go out and listen to it.
Yeah,
rather
especially in the days means too.
Oh,
The way how everything's so readily available. If everybody wants to talk about this whole downloading, the stealing scheme, and everything like that, I'm like, well, you know what? I don't care what happens with it. Go investigate it and find out what it's fucking like.
Yeah.
That's the way I see it from that point.
And if you like the band, come out to their shows, buy their merch, and support
Yeah.
them.
Well, people usually do that though. Once they come across things.
You can't download a shirt.
Going on a bit of a tangent here, you're in another band as well, Soylent Green. Given that there's not been an album since 2008, has anything really been happening in that camp, or has it all been focused on this band?
Most of it's been focused on this band because this band's been putting out, pretty steadily releases and things like that. And I mean, as far as things go with that, I feel that when the band puts an album out, it's just like it's that agenda for like the next year and a half, 2 years to kind of pump and push it and do what you have to do with it. And then you come home from that and you start working on new stuff. So a lot of time gets pushed towards that because definitely, this band has more, it's rolling out the releases. And actually, it's funny, our time of when we put out releases has become shorter throughout the years. Used to be like 3, now we kind of crunched it down to about 2. So
hopefully we'll crunch it down to
like
about
a year and a half
this time.
Yeah, and then maybe a year.
Oh, wow.
Who knows? We'll see. We can never determine that.
Yeah.
Though. It all depends in the writing and how when we write and do things and how we don't rush and force things. So it's just not gonna. We don't determine the years that pass. They just happen to pass because of how we're going through with the writing structure.
Oh, cool. And if I remember as well, you used to be in Acid Bath, right?
Yes, sir.
Do you think like any of the riffs from Acid Bath have made their way into this band, or is it all new stuff?
Not directly. There's some stuff that I definitely borrowed from some unused parts from those days that I refined to make them a little bit more darker and a little bit more aggressive. That, and especially on this new record, there's like 2 parts that I had from the Acid Bath days that I've reconstructed.
Yeah.
Where it doesn't sound so much like that. But I mean, if you listen really closely, you could tell which ones they are if you're a fan of that band. There's always a little bit of that creeping in every now and then.
Yeah. If you don't mind me asking, what inspired you guys to become musicians?
Wow, that's a really good, hard question to answer.
Well, you just kind of, I think it's just from growing up and you see the element of a lot of these bands, from like Judas Priest, the Venom, the Celtic Frost, and then you have that vibe that continues on, and you want to be part of that structure of creating something. Even though sometimes it starts off as like where all your influence are like the basis of all your writing, and you're almost kind of like duplicating those styles. You end up evolving in some sort of sense and getting into your own element and creating things, and then you get into the cycle of it, and then it becomes unique because then you run across people that are whether moved or whacked out because of what you put together, and it's kind of unique in that way. So it's all, I think, like a building block from that. There's like you're younger and you see these things and you want to kind of do that same idea, and and you build it from there. And and some of us move on and we do it like that, and some just kind of it doesn't work to their advantage.
Oh, cool. For yourself?
Basically what he just said.
I think you answered this earlier, but you've already started working on a few things for the new album, but
Yeah.
not that much. Have you got like any full songs written, or is it just riffs at the moment?
No, we have like 3 full songs, 2 which I feel are pretty much 99% done.
Oh, wow.
And we have 1 that's still kind of it's finished, but it still needs to be, something else needs to happen somewhere within the song. So roughly 2.5.
Ah, right, okay. Do you tend to write all the songs and then present them, or is it a collaborative effort between everyone?
It's different. Sometimes I'll be at home and I'll just have the inspirational hit and I'll just write a complete song all the way through and I'll present it to the rest of the guys and they'll be like, well, that's really good. We don't have to do anything to this. This is a really good song. And other times it'll be me and Zach will throw ideas around and Ben will come in and say, well, why don't you play this part 2 more times longer so I can put more vocals over it or whatever, or cut this part in half because it's dragging on too long.
Yeah.
So it works out different ways. Or sometimes Zach will come over to my house when I'll be working on stuff like by myself and he'll throw in his input on the whole thing, So it's basically everybody.
All right. Oh, that's good. So,
And then sometimes Ben will be like, well, or Zach even will be like, man, why don't you play a riff like this and hum something out? And I'll just try to put that close, like transfer it from the hum to the guitar.
Yeah.
So and that's happened a few times. So it's it's all we do it all kind of different ways. There's no like one set way where it's like this is it.
Yeah.
It's like whatever works. Basically is the idea that I like to take.
well, given we're in Scotland, have you had a chance to try any Scottish food yet?
Zach had a Scotch egg yesterday.
I don't think that's technically Scottish.
Oh,
but
well, there you go.
we'll go for it.
This is Ben from Goatwhore,
And Sammy from Goatwhore.
and you're watching Moshville Times.